I'm JR.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is Sparrows Under Review. At this time, right now, we have King Germ from Pod Saving My Marriage on our little bit we're doing with him for a quick little ad that we're going to throw in our show for him. So, King Germ, please tell us real quick about your new show.
Thank you, JR, for calling me. Well, as far as my new show, it's kind of the same as the old show. If you're not familiar with the old show, we was previously known as the Procast, but we did some rebranding, and now we're showing people how Pod saved our marriage. It's basically, think of all your TV couples. That's what you have with me and my wife. We don't always agree. We disagree most of the time, but that's where the magic comes from. You can catch us every Friday on all DSPs. And hopefully you will come and listen and get entertained by us, and so we can show y'all how we are saving our marriage with podcasting.
Man, sometimes I like to watch certain movies. When I see an action movie, I get all excited. I feel like I'm going back into the 80s. And when I'm going into the 80s, I just for some reason, I mix Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage. And I can take anything, and I get a little tough with it. My voice gets a little stronger. And my shoulders pop out a little bit like Brock Lesnar, and I get excited because we don't get very many action movies out here in the world. Oops, the mic's on. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm JR.
And I'm Stacy.
And we are back with another review. Tonight's review, this morning's review will be of Plane, a 2023 action thriller starring Gerard Butler and Mike Colter. Real quick, for anyone who doesn't know who Mike Colter is, we'll go to Gerard Butler in a second. Mike Colter, to a lot of people, is Luke Cage from the Defender series, from Daredevil, from Jessica Jones, and from his own series of Luke Cage. And Iron Fist. So we will see him back in the Disney Plus ecosystem real soon whenever they bring that kind of stuff back. Now let's get over to Gerard Butler. The reason that I'm doing an intro of these two is because if you look at a movie poster, these are the first two you see. Now, Gerard Butler, we can go deep with him. Everybody's going to say 300. And then some ladies, some guys, anybody's going to say, P.S. I love you. That's where you're going to get Gerard Butler. You're going to know he's an action star. He's bona fide. Now let me pass it along to my lovely co-host real fast.
Well, that was a great introduction you did there. Hey, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us. We are going to talk about Plane. Obviously, it is a film about being on a plane. If you have any fear of flying, if you're about ready to hop on a plane to go somewhere you're vacationing, you might want to skip this one for right now and then come back to it when you get back and land safely. I definitely do not recommend watching this movie if you're about ready to board somewhere because it might give you a little bit of PTSD or something like that. Just take caution and precautions. You know, this is not the Planes movie to be confused with the Disney movie associated with what are those shows called? The car movies, Cars.
Yeah, that Pixar type stuff.
Yep. So this has nothing to do with that. This is an action movie, and it is 100%. I don't want to say real because you might have some digital stuff in there, but it is not an animated movie by any means. So remember, everything in here is our opinion only. We are not going to try to persuade you one way or another or tell you how to feel about the show. We do recommend going ahead and seeing it. I mean, there's no harm in that. If you don't like it, turn it off. If you do, keep watching.
No doubt in that. And sorry, I got a little tongue-tied. We work off of our computers to get to refresh our minds on certain knowledge. So here's one thing I want to throw out here. You know, we never talk about the studios or anything like this, but this movie is one of those movies that was caught in movie limbo. This movie started out, it was once a Lionsgate movie, then it went on to be a Solstice Studio movie, and then it came back to Lionsgate, and then this movie was released now. Now, quick thing that we talk about in each episode, we talk about the streaming service or the method of how the movies come about. This movie was odd. This movie was an early release on video on demand, and then it was released in theaters. So some of my friends in Virginia went to actually go see it. So that's what
Okay.
caught my eye this time. That's because I'm the one that brings the movies to us.
Most of the time,
Most of the time. So, a friend of mine, Leslie, out there in Virginia, shout out to the emergency department out there in Campbell County and all that other good stuff out there, because she brought this movie to my attention. Her and her husband and her children went to go see it. So I saw them behind a preview of Michael Coulter and Gerard Butler. I was like, Plane, what is this about?
Yeah, I thought it took an odd turn. I guess we'll just jump into it.
Go ahead.
So you have Mike. He is what is the name of his character? His name is. Sorry, guys. We should already have this, but I don't know why I can't find his name.
Are we talking about Brody Torrance?
No, Brody Lewis. Brody is the
Gerard Butler.
the captain, the main pilot. So you have Brody and Lewis. Of course, he's escorted onto the plane, introduced to Brody. You have his, what do you want to call him? His marshal.
Yeah, got his marshal with
Is
him.
that yeah? And he basically said, "We're transporting him because he murdered somebody." Leaves it at that. They ask if he's dangerous, and basically they're like, "Oh well, he could be, but he might not be," type of situation.
Right, they clearly didn't give you
Exactly.
a definitive answer.
Yeah, and as the pilot, you should be prepared. Do I need to worry about this dude taking his handcuffs, twisting it around the marshal's neck, and squeezing and killing him, and then hurting my flight attendants? Because you can clearly see as the movie's progressing that they have no security when it comes to the captain and any of the pilots. Because the flight attendants are all just willy-nilly in and out of the cockpit there. Because you and I have flown together. They keep the pilot's door locked from the inside. Like the flight attendant can't just open it up and walk in whenever she feels like it. Like they have to let you in from the inside.
Yeah, because they do place a phone call to get in.
Right, and that's one thing that I'm just kind of like, okay, so this dude, he's going to go crazy, and he's going to start killing people in a plane. That's what I thought.
And that was my initial thought, too. I thought it was going to be like, because I knew him as Luke Cage, so I knew he had strength.
Yeah.
So I figured they were going to just be, parallel, whatever, just to make a joke, to have him bust out the handcuffs and do some extra stuff. But it didn't happen that way.
Right.
So we're on the plane, and, they go through the normal stick.
The checklist.
The checklist.
They have the iPads. And then this dude walks in. I don't know what his title is. I'm not even going to try to think about it. Basically, he's a dude that tries to save the airline money. If he meets a quota, he gets a bonus. That's how I see him.
Right.
So he goes in and says, all right, here you go. Here's your flight pattern. Let's go. Well, of course, you got Brody. He's like, well, there's a storm here. I think we should reroute. He's like, nope, that'll cost you $12,000 in fuel or 12,000 gallons of fuel or whatever it was. So let's keep it straight. You'll be fine. So he can't detour because he didn't get approval.
So if they had took that simple deviation, we probably wouldn't even have a movie right now.
Right. But, he's just sitting here like he gets like, I should have done what I wanted to do. When you get closer to the end of the movie, it's like, man. And that's what I feel. It's like if I would have just went with my gut and done things the way I thought they should have been done, I would never have been put through this.
So true. And I like just thinking about when we were on the plane flying from Columbus to Orlando, I didn't get PSTD or nothing like that, but I kind of just got a feeling. I was like, wow, something here is not right. Something here is just not going to go well. So right. they're in the plane, him and his co-pilot. Mm-hmm. They get a little turbulence at the very beginning.
Yep.
Then it gets a little rowdy.
Yep.
And when it gets rowdy, I'm sorry, my voice is getting into that professional wrestling voice, but it gets crazy.
Yeah. It's like a storm. Like they flew right through the storm.
And then they get out of a piece of the storm and think everything's all swell. Then the next thing, boom, the cop's cell phone drops out of his hand.
Right.
And just like anybody that's on the plane, when
it's still a little rough. Like the seatbelt sign is still on. And, oh my gosh, this dude.
And let me say this real quick. When you're on a plane and you're told to stay in your seat, always treat it like you're in elementary school. You sit down and listen to the person that's telling you the right thing to do because they are trained.
Well, yeah, but people in the world today, it don't matter what anybody tells them. Their opinion's right, and that's all that matters.
So now here we go. This cop gets out to go get his phone,
Right.
and they get the
It's like he's sending his last message to his wife or something.
yeah, something. And then the stewardess comes out at the same time. She's like, "Sir,
Right.
sit down." No. And next thing you know, the plane goes boop boop, and boop boop means the plane goes up and down very fast.
Yeah.
And we have 2 fatalities.
Yep. And you don't see a whole lot of his, but they did this. Ooh, they did this lady. You can see the contact in the seat and hear her neck snap.
And then you hear her go boop boop, and
Yep.
boop boop to me is thud.
Yep. Just lands right in the seat.
Yeah. It really wasn't that. It was really graphical, but it was so fast.
Right, and this was all super fast.
And then next thing you know, we get this plane. This plane is going down. We see nothing but water. So we were expecting these people to just die.
Right. They lose everything. Their radio went down. What was it? They had so many minutes, and I don't know why I can't remember that. But you have the co-pilot, and he's keeping track of all this stuff, and Brody's telling him, okay, do this, do this, do this. And you can tell he's panicking a little bit, but you can also tell that he's being very calm and professional, and he's got his head on him. He knows what he needs to have done, and they're warning the people, hey, you need to prepare for impact or brace for impact. He's like, all right, how much time do we have left? And they're counting down however long they have left before the plane completely stops or just hits somewhere. And like you said, they're finally able to go through that last bit of cloud, and they're like, okay, we got 2 minutes left or a minute left or 60 seconds, and they see an island.
Now, we're going to spin this back out real quick to Trailblazer Airlines.
Yes.
Trailblazer Airlines, at some point while this is the plane's almost going down, already has heard that the plane went out of the air. Because they start talking about what's going on, where's this plane, blah, 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 blah. So then
It doesn't really give us a time frame. It could have happened when all of their systems went down.
Yeah.
I feel like at this point when they're having this meeting, they had lost contact with them, and then they started gathering people together once they lost the point of contact. But I feel like there's a little bit of discrepancy in the time, because I feel like they didn't bring that guy in until after they had already crashed/landed for the first time.
So basically, the plane clear cuts an area. And it was a joke that I made because everybody knows about clear cut, and that's just getting all the trees out the way. So
Yeah.
the plane clear cuts an area, the plane lands, and it almost goes off the edge and they almost die, but
Right.
it stops.
But they're going through these trees, and he sees a road. Like, this captain pilot is so observant of what is going on around him that he was able to find the island, find a road, and land the plane safely.
And that was the wild thing to me, because after the plane was landed, it was time to get everybody lined up and organized.
Right, and of course, they're on a hot island and no air conditioner inside the plane, so you can imagine how hot it's going to be in there. And they were quick to realize that, that we're sending hot box. And of course, you got your complainers, or your complainer.
Yeah, you have your complainer, and you get your dynamic for some of your guests that were on the plane. And some clear things come out of this. Gerard Butler, as a character, I went back to my 300 days with him. When I closed my eyes, when he got off that plane, he was a pilot then, but once he got off that plane, he had turned into Rambo.
Okay.
Because he was being very strategic. He knew how to organize these people.
Right. So one thing I do like is that he did take charge. He's like, all right, I have to be the leader. I have to get these people safe. They're my responsibility. I'm the pilot. They're my people, basically. And I have to make sure they get taken care of. So he goes back on the plane, and he's going through the Marshall's belongings and finds out that Lewis was military. So he makes the decision at that point, this is the guy that I want with me going through the island to go find help. And it turns out to be probably the best decision he made.
And for Lewis, it turned out to be an even greater situation
Yes.
we'll talk about later.
Yeah. I don't want to ruin the movie a whole lot. We're going to basically give you the gist of the movie, but we're going to give it to you real fast. Brody does get fined a building. He gets the phone working. He calls Trailblazer headquarters, and do you want to tell them what happened?
And basically, they diss him. They act like that he's a prank caller.
Yeah.
They don't take him serious, but he does one thing that is very intelligent. He contacts his daughter.
Yeah. So basically, she's like, sir, we've had fake calls about this all day. If you don't have your employee ID number, then there's nothing I can do with you. It doesn't show whether she hangs up on him or if the call disconnects. But to me, I feel like she hung up on him.
And I do too.
I don't know why, but I feel like she hung up on him.
And then when he gets to his
And
daughter...
I hope she lost her job over that. I know it's all fake, guys. I know that. But I hope she lost her job over that.
And then spinning to the daughter. The daughter gets the information. He gets a slight bit of information to the daughter. And that's where I got lost in the movie, because he gave her information. And I don't know if the information made it to Trailblazer or if it just stayed with the daughter.
But both. Well, because he said, I tried to call. And I think he got out enough to be like, I tried to call them. I got disconnected. This is where we're at. And then it kind of like goes off. And then it was because of the daughter that they were able to hire private, what are they called? A private group. Because,
they were mercenaries.
Yeah, because they basically said, all right, they are on this island and it's basically ran by criminals, and even where were they at?
They were somewhere off the coast of, was it Thailand?
I don't know.
I want to say it was Thailand. Yeah.
The Philippines.
Philippines, okay.
Yeah. The plane makes an emergency landing on what turns out to be Jolo Island in the Philippines. And the crisis manager straight up tells them, they're not going to send anybody in there. Even the people from the Philippines won't touch this island because it's ran by criminals.
And that's the good part that I want to talk about the criminals, and I'll be very quick about this. The criminals, none of them are hilarious. They do speak a foreign language, and in the version we watched, we had no subtitles, so we don't know what's really going on, so we had to assume what was going on. But when they run up, and I know I use my terminology, but when they run up on the passengers, there's two passengers in particular that get slain. And they get slain not because of hesitation, because of their anxiety and their nerves. So to anybody that's watching, be careful with that too, because I know things sometimes, move you in a different direction.
Right. And like you said, it's not because of who they were, it's how they acted.
Right.
Like, they beat Brody and Lewis back to the camp. So you have Brody and Lewis here hiding. Lewis is, laying on top of Brody and being like, shut up. Like, don't mess this up. You're going to go out there and you're going to get everybody hurt. So just chill the F out.
Yeah.
I guess is basically what he's trying to tell them. And these two, this couple, she just takes off running. And instead of, just seeing what's going to happen, she just goes. And you have however many people sitting there with guns, and of course you're going to die.
Right. And the militant, the second in command, basically, he just took that gun and he sprayed it up like this.
Mm-hmm.
Just rat-a-tat-tat-tat.
Yep, you're done. And then, of course, her husband's freaking out, or whatever he was to her.
And the second in command takes care of him.
Yeah, it's freaking out. And, yep, you're done too. We ain't putting up with this. So that right there is 4 fatalities already in this plane accident.
And to move things along, 'cause like we said, we don't want to spoil everything in it. The movie works its magic like it's supposed to.
Right.
The way that the ending comes about, is very simple.
Yep. So the rescue team just comes in, guns a-blazing, rescues them from where everybody's captive. They get back to the plane. While Brody and Lewis are out trying to make contact, the co-pilot has fixed the plane to the best of his abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So they get it started, get it turned around, get everybody back on the plane except for Lewis.
Basically, Lewis finds a bag of money and he's like, woo-ha, I got you all in check. I helped you get where you're going.
Yeah.
Now I'm taking this money and I'm heading to wherever we go, so then we don't see Lewis again.
Or so we think.
Or so we think.
Yeah. So it turns out, what is it, the rocket launcher? We have the one dude at the end of the runway there with a rocket launcher, or whatever you want to call it. Excuse me if that is wrong, but, it is what it is. I'm going to call it whatever I want to call it. I'm a female that knows nothing about guns, or bullets, or rockets, or whatever. I mean, I know how to shoot one. And
you play GoldenEye, so you know the difference between a grenade launcher and a rocket launcher.
I know how to shoot one and I never miss, but that doesn't mean I know what they're all called. So here he is, about ready to light up the plane with a daggone missile. It looks like a freaking missile. And
the craziest thing
there comes Lewis to the rescue.
Yep.
Yeah, Brody, it looks like Brody, I think Brody just waves at him and he's like, goodbye. So they get up in the air and they can't go any higher because they have all the doors open. They're finally talking to headquarters and they're like, where do I go? He goes, well, you need to go up. You need to go up. He's like, I can't. So, okay, 50 miles this way and you have an island that you can land on. And just think, 50 miles is all the further they needed to go and none of this would have happened. Like, it's crazy.
Right.
So, but they barely made it that 50 miles. So they land on the island and the day is saved.
So let's dive into this. What's your take on this movie?
I liked it. It was a lot different than I thought it was going to be. I feel like there was more to Lewis's story. As of right now, I did see something down at the bottom of Wikipedia that said that there was the possibility of a sequel based on Lewis's role.
Okay.
And it is going to be called Ship.
Okay, I can. All right, I like that. Michael Coulter getting out there doing something extra.
Yep, it says that Gerard Butler will not star in it, but he may make a cameo appearance. So, of course, this is all just what happened this year, February 2023. It's in the talks. It's not concrete. It's not guaranteed. So you can't quote us on any of that stuff.
Yeah, no doubt in that, because he could just go back and do Disney and not look back.
Right.
Those checks are comfortable, I guess.
Yeah, I thought that it was a good movie. There were some things that I'm just like, okay, but yeah.
Now I'm gonna break it down real quick. The only thing that I had a problem with in this movie was the gunfire. There was way too much gunfire going on for not a lot of the good guys to die. As much as the militants was shooting at them like, but
they did take a lot of shots. Gerard Butler's character, Mr. Excuse me.
Torrance.
Yep. Brody did take 2 bullets. A couple of their drop-ins took a few bullets, but they kept their passenger safe, and that's what their goal was.
And that movie executed that good. And then the other thing that it wasn't hilarious, but it was wild. There was a .50 caliber rifle that was used in this movie. Mm-hmm. Be very careful, people who are watching, when that gun's being shot. The one that made the guy, when he was at the one part of the truck, smack the other part of the truck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the gun.
Yeah.
So just be careful with that. But overall, I'm gonna give this one. We had done a new rating scale that we put in a previous episode.
0 for trash. 1, 2, 3.
I'm gonna give it a 2. I'll put it on the shelf because it was something that was good, and not everything goes on my shelf because it's action adventure, and it's kind of on that parallel of this could have not gone to theaters and just been a Netflix movie, and I might have watched it, but it came from a different parallel and it wasn't associated with Netflix, so it came to me, and people in my Facebook groups, or at least on my Facebook scroll that I do twice a week. I seen it. It caught my eye. I researched it. Then I brought it to you all.
Mm-hmm.
And it started off. There's one thing I want to say. This movie has a slow churn. It starts off slow. The gears do not grind until 15, 20 minutes into it. So,
Right, because I think I remember you sending me a message that said I picked a dud. And I'm like, no, let's give it time. I think you picked a good one. So I'm going to go with a 1.5. I would watch it again, but it's not something I'm going to pick up and be like, yeah, I'm definitely going to watch it again.
Okay.
I feel like it was a very good movie, well put together, a lot different than I thought it was going to be. I didn't really think it had any awful parts in it. I like stuff that has a storyline, a background, a beginning and end, and a reason. It's hard to do that with this type of situation. But at the same time, they could have gave us a little bit of a background about the island.
Right.
I think I would have enjoyed that a little bit more. Or maybe having subtitles to whatever language they were speaking.
If it was even a real language.
Right. And it could have just been something made up
Some
on the
gibberish,
island. Yeah. And that's fine, but, they could have... They knew what they were wanting them to say, so they could have gave us some type of subtitles.
So one thing I want to say about all the movies that we've reviewed, and these episodes come out whenever they are, everything except the Whitney Houston, the last two movies we watched, we do need a little bit more character development. That's the only thing that's killed me in these 2023 movies. It's like they're good movies. I like my characters, but I don't have a deep enough story or a deep enough connection with them. Because I wanted to know more about Birdie. I definitely wanted to know more about Michael Coulter's character.
Right, and that's something that we like. It might not be something that everybody likes, and that's fine. We wholly support your whatever way you want to go. But yeah, we do like the character development and the follow up.
Give me a flash. Just give me 2 flashbacks. That's
Yeah.
all I'm asking for.
Yep.
Let me get a flashback when he was 22 or something.
Yep, show me why he killed somebody instead of just giving me whatever story he told. Because
Right.
I think they told why he or what happened. I think he was 18 and something happened. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time, is what he said.
Yes.
And ended up joining the military and then ran away and then finally got caught however long later.
And like I said, just a little bit more character development, but other than that, I'm fine with that.
Yep.
So, as always, we come to the end of this episode, and I am JR.
And I'm Stacy, and we want to thank you for taking the time to listen.